On my wedding day, my fiancé's white moonlight showed up in the exact same couture gown as mine. I watched them greet guests side by side. My expression stayed calm. I even praised them as the perfect match, made in heaven. Luna burst into tears and ran off on the spot. Sterling cursed me in front of everyone, calling me petty and small-minded. When the reception ended, he left for our honeymoon escape with Luna. I didn't argue. I simply booked the termination procedure. It was late at night by the time I finished everything and walked back into the house. Pale moonlight spilled across the living room, turning the whole space cold and desolate. I dragged myself to the bedroom and stared at the crimson wedding decal still glued to the wall. It felt like a bad joke. Confetti streamers still littered the bed, but I was too exhausted to care. I swept them onto the floor and collapsed onto the soft mattress. While plugging in my phone, I happened to see Luna's new Instagram post. "So lucky you came, I didn't waste the encounter." The photo showed Sterling's arm around her, their faces 1 centimeter from a kiss, matching promise rings glittering on their fingers. Old me would have raced over and demanded an explanation. Now I just darkened the screen and rolled over. Days passed without a single text from Sterling. I saw plenty of him on Luna's feed instead, kissing, selfies, shopping sprees. None of it touched me. I called my lawyer and started the divorce settlement. Sterling and I had been together 8 years, from college to now. We'd only just held the wedding ceremony, but we had actually impulsively gotten our license the day we graduated. No party, no bride price, no gold jewelry, just love. Now that love had burned itself to ash, leaving only wreckage behind. Half a month later I was home reviewing the first draft my lawyer sent when I heard the front door unlock. I looked up to see Sterling walk in, Luna's hand in his. Our eyes met, embarrassment flickered across his face. He quickly let go and spoke, voice unnatural. "Luna's never seen the ocean, so I took her. Anyway, you're pregnant, the doctor told you to take it." I cut him off before he finished, turning back to the screen and nodding. "Sure, fine." His sentence died in his throat. My lack of reaction only seemed to infuriate him. He snapped, voice icy. "Seriously? I already told you Luna's never seen the beach. That's the only reason. We can take a honeymoon anytime, why are you throwing a tantrum? And I've told you 100 times, Luna and I are just..." I interrupted him. "Just siblings." "I know." My face stayed neutral, no anger, no tears. His brows knitted tighter, frustration dripping from every word. "Then what are you mad about?" "I'm working." I refocused on the laptop, ignoring his glower. Luna stepped forward and clasped his wrist, sweetness layered over poison. "Don't be angry with me, sis. Please don't fight with Sterling because of me. Even though he didn't take you this time, he brought you a gift from the beach." She tilted her head, dimples showing. "Sterling, show her the present." He pulled out a small box, flipped it open, and slid it toward me. "Bought it especially for you. Take a look." He looked proud, as if I should swoon in gratitude. I glanced inside, simple floral stud earrings, tiny diamonds edging bluestone petals, cute and casual. I pushed the box back. "No thanks. I don't collect gift with purchase trinkets." The air froze. Sterling's face darkened first. "What do you mean, Serena?" I let my gaze drift to the 7-figure jadeite bangle on Luna's wrist, then met his eyes. "Exactly what I said. You hand her the heirloom and offer me the freebie, am I only worth the throw-in?" Sterling hadn't expected me to call it a giveaway to his face. He flushed. Luna, near tears, hurried to defend herself. "Please don't be upset, sis. He only gave me the bangle because I adored it so much. If it truly hurts you, I'll return it right now. I don't want you two fighting over me, it's not worth it." Her mouth said one thing, but her hand stayed clamped around the jade. Tears rolled prettily down her cheeks. Sterling pulled her into a protective embrace and glared at me. "Ignore her, Luna. The bangle is yours now. She's always been petty and calculating." I looked away and typed the millions he'd spent on Luna's ornament straight into the asset division line. Seeing I wouldn't bend, Sterling stormed out, Luna clinging to his arm. At the doorway he yanked the door wide, pausing, waiting for me to cave like I always had. I didn't even raise my head. I simply added another 0. He slammed the door so hard the painting shook. Not long after they left, Mom and Dad called, inviting me for dinner. I accepted. At their gate I ran into Sterling. He looked uncomfortable but forced a calm smile. "Coming in together?" I nodded and walked ahead. The meal was excruciating. My parents still fumed over the wedding ceremony fiasco. Their chill toward Sterling hung in the air like frost. In the past I would have smoothed things over. Tonight I let him sit in the cold alone. By the time we finished dinner and I was about to call a ride, Sterling had already pulled up in front of me. I just opened the door and slid inside when I spotted a sticker on the passenger seat, reserved for Luna. Sterling cleared his throat, clearly uncomfortable. Luna insisted on putting it there. It's not like you ride up front much anyway. I nodded, voice flat. Little girls and their quirks. His brows knit tighter, ready to say more, but my phone rang. I ignored him, head down, thumbs flying across the screen. When I finally looked up, the car was idling outside a cliffside mansion. The second I stepped out, Luna darted over and threw herself into Sterling's arms. Sterling, I missed you so much. With me watching, Sterling looked mortified. He quickly caught her wrists before she could kiss his cheek. Enough. You're not a kid anymore, act your age. Luna shot me a smug glance and cooed, so what if I'm older? I'll always be your little sister. I couldn't be bothered with their theatrics, so I walked straight inside. The moment I reached the foyer, an oversized digital frame began cycling photos, every single one of Luna and Sterling. Sunrise selfies with her curled under his arm, candlelit dinners, and the last shot, a heated kiss I almost mistook for a still from a romance film. I'd barely taken it in when Sterling rushed over. Serena, those are fake, I swear. Don't get upset, it's bad for the baby. I met his eyes just long enough to catch the flicker of guilt. I gave a small nod. Well, they're nicely framed. His frown deepened. You're not angry? I kept my tone even. Nope. The instant the word left my lips, my phone buzzed again, Dr. Patel confirming tomorrow's admission time at St. Camillus. I stepped away to take the call, Sterling's expression no longer my concern. When the call ended and I re-entered the party, Sterling was shielding Luna, voice raised. A guest had accidentally splashed wine on her hem, and Sterling was demanding a groveling apology. Watching them, a memory blindsided me. Years ago at another gala, Luna playfully shoved me into the champagne tower. Flutes shattered, alcohol and blood streaming down my sequined dress. When I reached for Sterling, he berated me in front of the entire room. Can't you walk? That tower was impossible to miss. Useless doesn't even cover it. Why don't you just bang your head against the bar and finish the job? Back in the present, the scene looked like a parody of that evening. I turned away, laughter bubbling up at the absurdity. Sterling didn't come home that night. Hardly a first. Next morning, while I was brushing my teeth, he showed up with takeout bags and Luna on his heels. He set the coffees and croissants on the island, offering, by his standards, an explanation. We stayed out late. Luna hates being alone after midnight, so I crashed at her place. Luna linked her arm through his, all innocence. Sis, you're not mad, right? I gave a non-committal nod and stayed silent. Sensing the frost, Sterling tried to thaw it with a smile. Didn't you keep asking about that new movie? I've cleared my afternoon, let's go. The film had opened to rave reviews. I'd begged him weeks ago, only to be told the company came first. Days later, Luna's Instagram had shown a theater armrest, 2 hands clasped, his watch unmistakable. Caption, best movie ever deserves the best company. I could still smell her perfume on his collar. I've got plans, I said, declining before he could insist. Sterling's eyes flickered with embarrassment, but Luna was already curled on the sofa, voice syrupy. Big plans, like meeting your college buddy? I shot her a sharp look. My divorce strategy sessions with my college roommate turned attorney weren't public knowledge. Luna feigned alarm, glancing at Sterling. Don't be upset. A friend just spotted Serena looking cozy with some guy at Café Lumière. She let the word hang, then backpedaled. But maybe it was a mistake. Serena adores you, she'd never cuckold you, right? Sterling's face darkened. He smashed the glass vase off the table, shards skittering across marble. Alex. You'd rather sneak around than watch a movie with me? What about our child, have you thought of that? I studied the glittering fragments, still silent, when Luna played the final card. Sterling, calm down. Maybe it runs in the family, her mom cheated too. Before she could finish, I hurled a box of tissues. The corner caught her cheek, blooming red. Sterling seized her arm, inspecting the welt, then rounded on me. That's it, Alex, you've lost it. Even if Luna exaggerated, you had no right to lash out. Do you understand? I cut through his rant. So you admit she lied, and you still blame me? His mouth opened, closed, color drained, then flooded back. Yes. I saw you that day. But violence is never justified. Apologize to Luna right now, or we're driving straight to the county clerk's office for a divorce. An arctic chill spread through every inch of me. I stared at him in disbelief but still forced myself to make one last plea. Sterling, I've scheduled the termination procedure for tomorrow. Will you come with me? He let out a mocking laugh, the way you'd laugh at a joke that wasn't funny. Alex, I've told you 100 times, you cannot use your pregnancy as an excuse to throw tantrums. Apologize to Luna, now, otherwise we leave this minute and file the papers. The laugh that burst from my throat was bitter. I yanked the prepared divorce settlement from my handbag and slammed it onto the table in front of him. Let's go. We can sign it right now. Sterling glanced at the document and the color in his eyes darkened. A storm cloud settled over his face. Serena, you're carrying our baby. You're just hormone-sensitive and impulsive. I can overlook that. I met his gaze with ice in mine and, after a long beat, finally spoke. Sterling, of all people you should know whether I'm impulsive or not. His expression froze. Luna started to interject, but he cut her off without looking away from me. Luna, Serena, and I need to talk. Head home, okay? Luna opened her mouth, but when her eyes landed on the asset division clause her pupils flared wide. Before she could curse at me, Sterling had already ushered her out. The instant the door clicked shut his voice softened. Serena, I realize being close to Luna upsets you, but you have to trust me, she's only a little sister to me. You're the one the Sterling family calls Sterling. Besides, if you divorce while you're pregnant, our baby will be born into a single-parent home. Is that what you want? I said nothing, studying him in silence. Sterling, you don't love me. If we split and give Luna my place, won't you finally be happy? He flung the settlement aside. I never said I didn't love. The ringtone reserved for Luna chimed. Without even looking, I knew it was her. Under my gaze he hesitated for one heartbeat, then answered. Whatever she said sent him bolt upright. Luna's in trouble. I have to go. I watched him with indifferent eyes. He leaned in to kiss my forehead but I turned my face away. He froze, awkward. Serena, I swear after this I'll keep my distance from Luna. I picked the divorce settlement off the carpet and spoke in a flat tone. Tomorrow, 9 a.m., OB/GYN ward, Riverside Women's. Don't be late. He hurried out after promising, as if the person in the corridor were the center of his universe. I stayed silent and, with a few taps, deleted and blocked every trace of him from my phone. 9 the next morning came, Sterling never appeared. It didn't matter. My parents were beside me, they walked me to the doors of the operating room. The air conditioning blew frigid air across my skin, but nothing felt colder than the forceps entering my body. The anesthetic pulled me under. When awareness returned I was lying in a ward bed. Mom and Dad sat nearby. The moment I opened my eyes Mom's tears spilled over and she clutched my hand. Serena, does it hurt? I gave her a small smile. They numbed me, no pain. Mom hesitated, words failing. Dad stayed wordless a long while, then finally looked at me. We end this marriage. You're divorcing him. I nodded. Okay. Mom fussed over me daily, terrified I'd be left with complications. She cooked at home and brought every meal to the hospital. Under her meticulous care I slowly regained strength. The day after discharge I could walk on my own. Following doctor's orders, I shuffled along the corridor for gentle exercise. Mom had slipped off to prepare lunch, Dad had gone to fetch hot water. Alone, I paced slowly, until Sterling appeared supporting Luna right in front of me. All three of us froze. After an eternity Sterling spoke, guilt thick in his voice. Serena, Luna's ovarian cyst ruptured. I only came to be sure she's okay. I had no idea you were here too. How's our baby? I tried to sidestep them, but Sterling seized my arm. Fury flashed in his eyes. What's with that attitude? I'm this child's father, your husband, don't I deserve to know the test results? I attempted to wrench free, his grip tightened. I slapped him. Sterling, you dare call yourself a father? Rage blazed across his face, his fingers dug deeper. Watch me, Alex. Even divorced I'll fight for full custody, and you'll never see the kid again. Before the sentence finished Dad strode back, swung, and punched him square in the jaw. The baby is already gone, Dad growled. You want custody? Dig through the trash bins. Sterling's eyes widened in disbelief, his trembling finger pointed at me. Behind him Luna collapsed, feebly calling, "Sterling." This time he didn't turn. He only stared at me, eyes bloodshot. Dad helped me back to the ward to avoid further trouble. When dinner time arrived, Mom had just set out the dishes she'd brought when a knock came at the door. Sterling stepped inside. "Mom, Dad, I came to see Serena." Dad's face darkened instantly. "Quinn, spare us. We're not worthy of those titles." Shame weighed down Sterling's shoulders. Behind him walked Theodore and Victoria. Victoria gave me a sheepish smile while Theodore delivered a kick to Sterling's back. "Serena, we know everything. Our son is entirely at fault. We've already given him the scolding of his life, and he sees his mistake. You've been wronged, and we're sorry." Mom rolled her eyes and opened her mouth, but I touched her wrist, silencing her. I gave him a look, then spoke coolly. "Uncle, Sterling and I have been married for years. How he's treated me, you've all seen it, but I don't want to rehash the past. Tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock, see you at the county clerk's office." Sterling's face drained of color. He strode to the side of the bed and dropped to one knee right there on the cold linoleum. "Serena, I know I messed up, but please, don't divorce me. I can't live without you." As he said it, tears actually slid from the corners of his eyes. I let out a short laugh and stared down at him, every inch sarcasm. "Sterling, you didn't feel any love when you called me petty on our wedding day. You didn't feel it while you were off on your honeymoon escape with Luna. Now that we're divorcing, suddenly you do. Your love is bargain basement cheap." Riley, even angrier, punched Sterling in the shoulder. Victoria followed with a slap, but she still dotes on him. She pulled the blow. She tried to take my hand, I stepped aside. No anger, just guilt in her voice. "Serena, Sterling wronged you, no question. But to him Luna's only ever been a little sister. You know the saying, it takes 100 years to share a ferry, 10,000 to share a bed. You and Sterling V come this far, that's no small thing. How about this, forgive him once. If he ever slips again, the penthouse loft, the cars, every share in Sterling Vance, all yours. He signs a walkaway waiver. Deal?" Victoria's word carries weight at home, she's always had final say. Sterling stayed on his knees, eyes red-rimmed. "Serena, I swear I'll cut Luna off starting now. I'll never contact her again. Just give me one more chance." My parents started to object, but I pressed their wrists. I pulled a folder from my bag. Inside was a fresh divorce settlement, different from the last. This one handed Sterling the walkaway waiver. "Fine. He signs this and I'll forgive him, once." Victoria frowned and reached for the papers, but Sterling snatched them first, yanking a pen from his pocket and scrawling his name. "Serena, I'll sign. It's done. Forgive me, please." I smiled at his begging face and took the signed document. "All right. You're forgiven." After they'd gone, my mother looked at me, unconvinced. "Serena, you're really taking him back? You're afraid you'll have nowhere to go?" "Sweetheart, even divorced, we can support you." Tears stung my eyes, I was touched. Still, I shook my head. "Mom, relax. I'm not staying with Sterling. I have my reasons." She opened her mouth, met my steady gaze, and said nothing more, just sighed. Sterling kept his promise, no calls, no texts to Luna. He deleted and blocked every trace of her in front of me, then fussed over me day and night until I was discharged. We returned to the penthouse loft together. Luna turned up more than once, he turned her away every time, but I knew his restraint wouldn't last. Soon it was time for my follow-up. The night before, I studied Sterling's guilty face and pretended I noticed nothing. "Sterling, tomorrow's my checkup. You'll come, right?" He nodded eagerly. "Don't worry, Serena. I'll absolutely be there." I smiled, waited until he left to pick up groceries, then texted Luna. "Seems you're not that important to Sterling after all. He swore he'll accompany me tomorrow, says you're just a bit of play acting." She took the bait, typing for ages before firing back. Just wait. I knew Luna wouldn't disappoint. And I won the bet. On exam day Sterling never showed, but a trending tabloid headline splashed photos of him locking lips with Luna outside her apartment. We'd clawed our way up from nothing, branding our love story to sell every product we launched. Now the public watched him toss it aside. Netizens roasted him for cutting down the first person he saw after making it. I ignored the noise and texted him our reserved number at the county clerk. 9 a.m. tomorrow. See you there. He didn't reply. When I walked into the penthouse that night, every light was off. He crouched beside the coffee table littered with vodka and wine bottles. Seeing me, his eyes reddened. Serena, you knew this would happen, didn't you? I smiled back, gaze ice cold. You signed the settlement, Sterling. You chose to meet Luna. How is any of that on me? Pleading overflowed in his eyes. He looked utterly crushed. Serena, I really know I was wrong. All these years, you know I've never truly betrayed you. You love me, I know. And I know whatever craziness you and Luna got up to, you never went all the way. I spoke with flat calm, as if narrating someone else's life. I know Luna was just novelty. I know I'm the one you really love. With every sentence Sterling's hope brightened, until he was practically begging with his eyes. Serena, if you understand, then I shattered his fantasy without mercy. No, it's over, Sterling. You already signed the walkaway waiver. Show up tomorrow, get the decree, and we can talk about a new asset division, maybe even leave you the company. But if you refuse, I'll walk straight into court with this divorce settlement, and you won't get a single cent. Sterling stared at me in disbelief, as though he couldn't accept those words had actually come out of my mouth. Serena, you're really doing this? I looked at the liquor bottle on the table, not a trace of warmth remained in my eyes. You know that once I've decided something, I never change my mind. A bitter laugh spilled from Sterling as he tilted back and collapsed onto the hardwood floor. Serena, you don't understand. When I was a kid my parents were suffocating, they wouldn't let me have friends. Only Luna was willing to be my friend, so. Tears of regret slid from the corners of his eyes as he poured out every reason he'd been so good to Luna. I wasn't interested in listening. I simply went back to my room to shower. The next morning, against every impulse in his chest, Sterling knew that for the Sterling family he had to go through with it. The moment the divorce certificate was in my hand, my whole body felt light. Ignoring the look on Sterling's face, I strode out of the county clerk's office. Just before I reached the door he grabbed my wrist. I turned and saw him gaunt, eyes bloodshot, pleading. Serena, give me one more chance, please. I can do better, I swear, believe me. I ignored him, yanked my wrist free and gave him a triumphant smile. Quinn, what are you talking about? The marriage is over, there is no chance left. He opened his mouth, but I didn't care to hear it. Per our agreement I left Sterling Vance in his hands. Then I headed alone to Riverford, the city I'd once planned for our honeymoon. I'd daydreamed countless times about arriving there with Sterling, yet once I finally came I discovered I could have plenty of fun by myself. I visited landmarks, soaked up the local color, tasted food I couldn't find anywhere else. The scenery along the way convinced me the trip had been worth it. By the time I flew back, 2 months had passed. During those 8 weeks I'd purposely left Sterling Vance with him. When he couldn't keep it afloat and filed for bankruptcy I could buy it back for pennies. That way someone else absorbed the PR fallout and I reclaimed the company at rock bottom price. I met Sterling again in the CEO's office, only this time I strode in as the new president. Morgan, long time no see. 2 months had shaved pounds off him. The confident spark was gone, replaced by a cringing deference. Serena, you should call me Sterling Vance. A storm of emotions flickered across his eyes, but he forced them down. On my order Sterling cleared out of the headquarters within 3 days. Under my steady hand Sterling Vance was soon humming again. To scrub our product's image I had to release every taunting video Luna had ever sent me. The moment they went live, hordes of netizens swarmed Luna with curses. People spammed her old lovey-dovey clips, branding her a homewrecker and worse. Sterling, the main culprit, didn't escape. His cell number leaked, his private data splashed across forums. He shut off his phone and cut himself off from the internet, but prolonged isolation shredded his mind. First he feared stepping outside, later he recoiled from any human face. Though Theodore and Victoria paid heavily to squash coverage, savvy users still dug up their details. Even his bribery records surfaced. Crowds of commenters hammered the authorities. Both he and Victoria were booted from their agencies just shy of retirement age. Meanwhile my company soared, revenues multiplying several-fold and my net worth skyrocketing. After the divorce I never saw Sterling again. I only heard that his mental state was shaky. Some days he holed up at home, some days he wandered aimlessly. His parents pleaded, he acted as though he heard nothing. He spent every waking hour lost online. As for Luna, her family had always leaned on Sterling's support. With Sterling ruined, she toppled too. During our split, I'd already filed suit to claw back every dollar he'd funneled her while we were married. Except for the jadeite bangle, he hadn't lavished jaw-dropping gifts, yet even those amounts were enough to bankrupt her. At the next Sterling Vance annual gala, the venue was the very hall where I'd once held my wedding. This time no one abandoned me. I was the star everyone ushered to the stage. When my speech ended, I saw Sterling again. Outside, the dead of winter breathed flecks of snow. He wore threadbare clothes, a thin shirt and thinner pants, nothing like the man who'd once commanded boardrooms. Veteran employees recognized him and whispered behind cupped hands. Seeing me on stage, he rushed forward in delirious excitement. The guards caught him inches from me. He stretched his arms, frantic, shouting, "Serena, Serena, I know I was wrong, forgive me, please." I didn't meet him. Out of past sentiment, I told someone to call Theodore and Victoria to collect their son. After the gala ended, I skipped the chauffeur and drove down the mountain alone. The same road felt like a different world now. Just before I reached home, I noticed a new neighbor moving in across the street. "Hi, sis, I'm your new neighbor. Mind if we swap numbers?" And thanks for listening to today's story. If you enjoyed it, give us a thumbs up and share with friends. Tell us your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more gripping tales. See you next time.